Chased by a guy with a knife in Riverside. Let's get into it. First things first, I just gotta say thank you to everybody, new and old, who's showing up to my page and supporting. I really do appreciate it. And all I ask is if you could please subscribe, I would appreciate it. If not, it's no big deal, but I just would like to reach as big of an audience as I can. So, all that being said, let me get straight into the story. So, this took place probably more than 10 years ago. I was probably 20 years old, so let's just say 2013. So, I had a friend I grew up with, and he always went back and forth between Riverside and Torrance. He had a parent in Torrance and a parent in Riverside, so he was constantly going back and forth, back and forth. And there were a handful of times that he would be in Riverside, and where in Riverside, it was kind of like his parent that didn't really care as much. So like we could go over there and like do anything, and in Torrance's other parent was way more like concerned and on top of stuff. So he would invite us out there all the time. I went out there all the time. I have plenty of Riverside stories that I could do a whole series on. But this one in specific was a time like where he was in Riverside over the weekend or whatever the time was, and I was with someone who had a car. I was not old enough to drive yet, so yeah, actually minus like 5 years off of whenever I just said this happened, because I wasn't even old enough to drive. So it definitely was not 2013, because I would have been 20 at that time. Anyways, so I like he would always say like, "Yo, come to Riverside, come chill in Riverside, blah 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 blah." So one time I was actually with somebody who had a car that was like, "All right, let's go." I think he wanted to get picked up. It was something where we were going to drive there and we were going to pick him up, and then we were going to take him back to like our area. So we drove out there, and like I had gone out there a bunch, like I've been out there a bunch of times, but when I went out there, it's just like he was always introducing me to these like figures that lived out there that like had like little nicknames and like stuff like that. So there will be one in this little story. So there was this guy named Little J, and he was probably like 5 foot like one. He was really small, and we were chilling with him. He was a cool dude and everything. Like there was nothing wrong with him, and the main thing that at the time of like what was like going on and like the time frame and everything was fizz, ecstasy. Like that was like everybody had ecstasy pills everywhere, it seemed like, even when we went out to Riverside. So we're in Riverside, and we're going to different places. It's me, my friend who drives, my friend who lives out there, and then that guy Little J. So we're in the car, and we all had ecstasy pills that we either got them from someone out there or we already had them. So we like take them, or I took mine. I can't speak for anybody else, but I took mine, and we're literally at a park that's right across the street from where my homie's mom lived. That were like, it's like the projects. Literally, it's the projects. All the houses are exactly the same, and there's just a little park that's like right across the street. So we're sitting on this bench, and like I remember I'm sitting on the bench where like I'm sitting on the top part, and I have my feet where you would normally like sit at. So I'm sitting there, and we're smoking a blunt, and my homie that lives out there, he all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, he's like, I'm gonna go say what's up to the homegirl real quick," and he points like across the street. Like you could like that's how close we were at this park. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go say what's up real quick," or he was gonna say bye or something because we were leaving, whatever. It was something along those lines, and we're like, "All right, sure, whatever." So we stay at the park, and we're sitting at the bench, and we're smoking, and he kind of like disappears like in between two of like the units or whatever. So we're just sitting there and we're still talking and we're smoking, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see my homie, and he's just taken off running full speed, like the exact way that he went in, like in between these two like houses or whatever. I just see him sprinting. Like I've never seen him run that fast in my entire life. And like I'm like curious why he's running. And then like 4 seconds later, I see a dude that is behind him that's running and that's chasing him like full force chasing him. And the dude actually stops, like almost like on some movie shit. I swear to God, I saw this with my own eyes. He literally has he's running and he's like running chasing him, and then he stops, and then he has something in his hand, and he takes his hand and he goes like that, and it's a knife, and he does that, and it's clear as day, like I can see it, you know what I mean? He does that, and then he just continues to sprint, like just continues to sprint. So my homie runs over to us and he's like, "Get in the car, get in the car, get in the car." And so we're just like kind of like, confused on what the fuck is going on, but we're like, all right. And so like we get in the car, like I'm not driving. It's like the other person that I was with whose car it was and who's driving and everything. So we all get into the car. And I remember little Jay, I remember he had this little like chihuahua. I don't know why I remember that, but he was like the whole time we were with him, it was just one of those things where sometimes people have like little dogs that they like carry around and stuff. I don't know. I've never had a dog, so I don't know, but I've seen it before. So it's just like, so like my homie's getting chased. He runs to the car. He gets in the car. We get in the car. And the guy is literally in the middle of the street. And he's standing in the middle of the street. And he has his knife like pulled out, just like standing there, just like with the knife like this. And I remember like, because I'm sitting in the shotgun seat. And little Jay was sitting behind me. And I remember little Jay, he had like this little like lisp. No pun intended of little, but he had this like lisp. And I remember him being like, "Just to run him over." And like, it was just like, so he's like, "Just run him over, dog." Like it was like not even a thought of anything of whatever. It was just like, "Hey, he's in your way, run him over." Like it was that like simple of a suggestion, solution to the problem or whatever. So fortunately my friend didn't do that. Like he was like, I mean, the guy didn't back down, to be honest. We played chicken with a dude standing there and he won, honestly. And my homie drove around him, and then like we just had to, it was just awkward because where we were, we couldn't get out that way. So we had to go and we had to turn around, and this dude knew that. So the guy, like, he was kind of like waiting there, and then we had to turn around, and then we had to drive past him again. And when we drove past him again, he stood out in front of the car again. Like, I don't know what this dude's deal was, if he was trying to actively get hit by the car or if he was just trying to use his body to stop. I don't know what his like MO was or anything like that, but he tried. He did not succeed, and we ended up like, just going and scooting around him, and we got onto the 91 and we took that shit west all the way from Riverside. So that was just a quick little story. I wanted to test this out. This is on some new kind of equipment that I have, so hopefully the quality is good and everything, and my ugly face isn't too hideous for you guys to be distracted from the story. So yeah, just wanted to throw that up there for you guys. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, I'm gonna be making a lot more content, and things are gonna get a lot more easier with having these tools to utilize. So thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to my page. And once again, if you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. But if you've came and watched and whatever you can support from the sidelines. It's all good. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you later. Peace.